Chicago has long been known as a city of immigrants, a place where cultures, languages, and traditions from around the world meet. But in recent years, immigration has become one of the city's most debated issues. Chicago immigration reform refers to a series of new policies and programs designed to make the city more welcoming and supportive of immigrants while balancing legal, economic, and social concerns. The reform is part of a broader movement to modernize how cities interact with federal immigration systems and to provide local solutions for national challenges. At its core, Chicago's immigration reform aims to protect undocumented residents while ensuring fair treatment for all immigrants, regardless of status. The city's leadership argues that immigrants are essential to Chicago's economy and culture, and that punitive measures only divide communities. By reforming policies at the city level, officials hope to reduce fear, improve cooperation with law enforcement, and connect immigrants with essential services like education, healthcare, and housing. In essence, it's about replacing fear and uncertainty with stability and opportunity for immigrant families. The reform was introduced in response to the growing number of migrants arriving in Chicago, many from Central and South America. Over the past few years, buses of asylum seekers have arrived from southern border states, straining city shelters and services. The new immigration policies are designed to better manage this influx, creating systems for housing, employment assistance, and legal support. City leaders believe that instead of reacting to crises, Chicago needs a sustainable framework to handle immigration with dignity and efficiency. A central part of Chicago's immigration reform is the Welcoming City Ordinance. First enacted years ago and now expanded, it prohibits city officials, including police, from cooperating with federal immigration enforcement unless required by law. This means local authorities won't detain people solely based on immigration status. Supporters say it builds trust between immigrant communities and local government. When people feel safe reporting crimes, sending their kids to school, or seeking medical help, the whole city benefits. Critics, however, worry it may conflict with federal law enforcement priorities. Another major element of the reform is the Chicago Newcomer Support Program, launched to help asylum seekers and refugees adapt to life in the city. The program provides temporary housing, food assistance, and guidance on legal processes. It also connects new arrivals with language courses, job training, and community organizations. Chicago has invested millions in these initiatives, funded partly through city and state budgets. The goal is to help newcomers become self-sufficient quickly, reducing long-term dependency and allowing them to contribute economically to the city's future. Education plays a big role in Chicago's immigration reform. Public schools are required to welcome all children, regardless of immigration status. The city has increased funding for bilingual education, mental health support, and parent engagement programs. Many schools have become cultural hubs where immigrant families receive information about resources and rights. Officials hope that by giving immigrant children strong educational foundations, they can close opportunity gaps and prepare the next generation of Chicagoans to thrive in an inclusive and diverse city. Healthcare access is another key priority. Many immigrants, especially undocumented ones, struggle to afford medical care. Chicago's reform includes expanded eligibility for local health clinics, city-funded medical programs, and translation services. Through partnerships with nonprofit clinics and hospitals, the city aims to provide preventive and emergency care without fear of deportation. Public health experts emphasize that healthy communities benefit everyone, controlling disease, lowering healthcare costs, and ensuring all residents, regardless of status, have access to life-saving treatment when needed. Employment support forms another cornerstone of the plan. Chicago's reform offers job training, English language learning, and credential recognition programs for immigrants. Many newcomers arrive with professional skills that go unused because of certification barriers. By helping them re-enter the workforce, the city not only strengthens its economy but also reduces poverty and reliance on public assistance. Workforce inclusion is seen as the fastest way to turn immigration into a shared success story, benefiting both migrants and the broader Chicago economy. Chicago's mayor and city council have defended these policies despite political backlash. Critics argue that the city's approach strains local resources and attracts more migrants than it can handle. Supporters counter that immigration is a reality, not a choice, and that humane management is better than chaos. The mayor insists that compassion and practicality can coexist. By providing structure and support, the city prevents homelessness, reduces crime, and ensures immigrants contribute rather than struggle in the shadows. It's a long-term investment, not a short-term cost. Housing remains one of the biggest challenges under Chicago's immigration reform. With thousands of migrants arriving monthly, shelters are often at capacity. The city has repurposed public buildings, hotels, and even old schools as temporary shelters. While these efforts are controversial, officials argue that they are necessary to prevent people from sleeping outdoors during harsh Chicago winters. The reform also includes partnerships with nonprofits to help families transition from temporary housing to permanent homes, aiming to maintain dignity while addressing humanitarian needs. Legal assistance is another crucial piece. The Chicago Legal Protection Fund provides free legal services to immigrants facing deportation or navigating asylum claims. Trained lawyers and volunteers help newcomers understand their rights and complete complex immigration paperwork. This initiative has already helped thousands of families stay together and find lawful paths to residency or citizenship. The city believes that access to legal representation reduces exploitation, speeds up case resolutions, and strengthens trust between immigrants and the justice system. Civic inclusion is at the heart of Chicago's approach. The city encourages immigrants to participate in local government and community life. Programs like Chicago Votes for All and Immigrant Civic Engagement Week promote voter education, volunteerism, and leadership opportunities. Even non-citizens are invited to join advisory boards and contribute to city planning discussions. The idea is simple. People who feel included are more likely to contribute, pay taxes, and invest in their neighborhoods. It's about building a city where everyone's voice counts. The reform also tackles language barriers. Chicago now requires key public services, from hospitals to police stations, to provide translation or multilingual assistance. This ensures immigrants can access help in emergencies or understand their legal and civic rights. The city's Language Access Ordinance expands on previous laws, making government more inclusive and responsive. With over 160 languages spoken across the city, this effort helps bridge communication gaps and strengthens unity among diverse communities, making Chicago truly live up to its nickname, the City of Neighborhoods. Economically, experts say immigration reform could boost Chicago's long-term growth. Immigrants are overrepresented in essential industries such as construction, food service, transportation, and healthcare. By integrating them into the legal economy, the city can increase tax revenue and reduce the underground labor market. Studies show that immigrant-owned businesses create thousands of jobs annually. Reforming the system helps unlock that potential, turning immigration from a perceived challenge into an economic advantage that fuels innovation, productivity, and entrepreneurship throughout the region. Community organizations play a vital role in making Chicago's immigration reform work. Nonprofits, faith groups, and neighborhood centers collaborate with the city to deliver services, host workshops, and connect newcomers with mentors. These partnerships ensure that help reaches the people who need it most. Grassroots efforts have proven essential for outreach, especially among immigrants who fear government interaction. By working together, local organizations and city agencies are creating a more coordinated, compassionate, and efficient response to immigration challenges. Public opinion remains divided. Some Chicagoans applaud the city's leadership for prioritizing humanity and inclusion, while others worry about costs and capacity. Polls show that while most residents support helping immigrants find stability, they also want clearer limits and better coordination with federal agencies. City officials argue that true reform requires national action. Chicago can only do so much without federal immigration system updates. Until then, local reform remains a model for what cities can do with compassion and courage. Looking ahead, Chicago plans to expand its Immigrant Services Department, strengthen housing partnerships, and improve data collection to track outcomes. Officials are also exploring new funding sources, including public-private partnerships, to sustain programs. The success of the reform will depend on how well the city balances compassion with capacity. As migration trends continue, Chicago's policies may serve as a blueprint for other U.S. cities facing similar challenges. cities that want to help newcomers while maintaining fiscal and social stability.